Well, hello, and welcome back to Figurine Friday with Johnny Tiger on April 22nd, 2022. And obviously, this is a makeup session for Toy Thursday. Um, Ended up going out for a birthday dinner last night, and by the time I got back, I was a little bit too lightheaded because of all the beer I had to make Toy Thursday. But there's another reason why I left it to today as well, because today happened to be Earth Day, Environmental Day. Um, Now, the whole environmentalism that we should be more environmental, we should take care of the planet we live on, have been around for quite a while. But I will say that for a lot of people, myself included, this has been more of a remote concept, like a faraway concept at best, until these last few years. I mean, it has always been, yeah, yeah, okay, I know, the ozone layer and the ice cap melting, whatever. It always been like, okay, I know we are doing something to mess up this planet, but whatever. It's far off. It may be not going to feel the effect for another million years or whatever. At least, I always felt this way. And then, suddenly, we're getting hit with wildfires, crazy tornadoes and storms and flooding here in Canada. And this last winter, we have like the coldest winter we ever had in British Columbia in the recent, maybe the last 50 years, 60 years. I don't know, maybe ever. We, I never experienced a winter this cold in British Columbia before. And then the summer before, last year, we actually had people dying from the heat here in Canada. I mean, that's crazy. People in Canada dying from heat, you just never hear that before. So it seems that the environment is really catching up to us, and now it's giving us a kick in the shin, and we can't even think of it as abstract anymore. It's staring us right in the face. Okay, this planet is not happy, and we better do something about it. So I think Earth Day, Environmental Day, is very important. Definitely, to me, it feels a lot more important than before. So I wanted to wait until today to show you guys the figure of the week because the figure I'm going to show you guys this week actually fits in with Earth Day, Environmental Day, and also our main subject, which is Easter. Last weekend, on Easter weekend, I went out with a good friend and we were at the pub and we sat down at the table. The waitress came over and my friend, who's always been a bit of a joker, immediately piped up and asked the waitress, "Hey, do you know what's the name of the Easter rabbit?" The waitress like, "Uh, no, didn't even realize it has a name." And then my friend said, "Would you like to meet my Easter rabbit?" Yeah, needless to say, the reaction of the waitress was priceless. It was pretty funny. Uh, so, but my friend bringing up the Easter rabbit reminded me, hey, yeah, it is Easter. And, I wonder what action figure I can show for Easter rabbit. Well, just happened that I have the perfect figure for both Easter rabbit and Earth Day. So without further ado, we're going to bring him in right now. Normally, when we think of a rabbit, we're thinking about a character that is cute and fuzzy and friendly. Well, this guy is definitely fuzzy, and he's big, muscular, and purple, and he definitely doesn't look very friendly. In fact, with those soul-piercing yellow eyes and the big grin flashing those big white teeth, and the weird uh, position of his long rabbit ear, one ear up and one ear down. There's nothing cute or friendly about this rabbit. This is a very sinister, evil rabbit. The kind of rabbit that is going to uh, do unpleasant things to people who stand in his way. Even on his character bio, it looked like a weirdly written Craigslist advertisement. It says, "Evil rabbit seeking riches." And who is this guy? This guy's name is Plunder. Plunder the Spoiler. Plunder the Spoiler. Yeah, so spoiler alert. Plunder is a rabbit, but he's not just any rabbit. Plunder is a purple alien rabbit, the ruler of the planet Tyrannus. He hails from Masters of the Universe, He-Man and Masters of the Universe. Now, a lot of people who don't know He-Man very well heard of He-Man. They know about Skeletor. They know about the Sword of Power and She-Ra. Uh, but that's barely scratching the surface of Masters of the Universe. I mean, Masters of the Universe is full of interesting characters, both on the villains and heroes side, that even people like myself, who is not really all that attached to the cartoon, uh, tend to find something that we like in some of the characters. And Plunder is one of those. Plunder, you can say that Plunder is one of the most evil villains in Masters of the Universe, and one of the very few villains that actually bested He-Man. Not because he got bigger muscles or bigger sword or anything. Plunder bested He-Man because he is like an evil genius. He's smart and evil and sneaky, and he has a great understanding of chemistry and technology, and he used that all that stuff against He-Man. And he actually captured He-Man, and He-Man had to be rescued in the episode. Usually He-Man is the one that's doing the rescue, but in this episode, He-Man actually had to be rescued by his friend. And unlike a lot of other He-Man's villains, Plunder really is not obsessed with He-Man. He doesn't spend his days and nights dreaming about defeating He-Man. Instead, Plunder's whole gimmick is he wants to be the richest person in the world. So Plunder uh, built this giant machine that sucked the life force out of the planet that he rules. And the the life force get funneled into the factory that he owns, so they can produce more material, more goods to be sold on other planets to make him richer and richer. While his own planet, because the life force is being drained from it, the planet becoming uh, starved and uh, neglected, and everything's dying, and nothing can grow on the planet. Hey, that almost sounds like what's happening to us right now. I wonder if there's some evil corporation with a rabbit for a leader that is sucking the life force out of our planet right now. Food for thought. So, since he's a rabbit, obviously it's fitting for Easter, and since his whole gimmick is stealing life force from his planet, uh, that makes him perfect for us to talk about on Earth Day. Plundar is, in many ways, one of those action figures that kind of draw me in without me even need to know anything about him. Because he's a muscular, big and muscular, purple rabbit dude. I mentioned this before. Any action figure that has an animal scene to it kind of draw me in to begin with. Especially when they're big and chunky like this guy. He is dressed a little bit weird. He got boots and gloves and um, I don't know what is that he's wearing, kind of like a bib or some kind of weird chest armor, and he's wearing boxer shorts. Uh, anyway, this is a very muscular purple rabbit dressed in very little. His outfit is mostly brick and wine color. Other than that, he's just covered in, he's a very muscular uh, uh, man-sized or really big man-sized rabbit covered in fur and muscle. It is kind of interesting that he is portrayed as a very muscular character because he is really more known for his smart and being sneaky and tricky. But I guess when you want to be evil, having a bit of muscles doesn't hurt, especially when you are from a property like He-Man Masters of the Universe, where every single bloody character has so much muscle that they don't know what to do with muscles in the end of the day. Um, but yeah, Plunder is, I believe he was released in 2015 or 16 by Mattel, who owned the Masters of the Universe license at the time. Actually, they still do. They have just now, in the past 6 months or so, started a new Masters of the Universe line based on the current Netflix series called Masterverse. So that's pretty cool. Back when figures like Plunder was released, I wasn't really into collecting Masters of the Universe action figure. Like I said, I never had any personal attachment to the cartoon, and so I really didn't know a lot of these characters. And like so often is the case when you're collecting action figures, you have to prioritize. You can't just collect everything unless you're super rich. So since money was an issue, uh, I had to prioritize my collection, and Masters of the Universe was one of the things that I sadly passed on collecting at the time. And later, when my finance was a little bit more relaxed, then I went back and tracked down some of the more interesting sounding characters, and Plunder was one of them. Like I said, what can you do? He's a big purple rabbit. What more do you need to know? Now, I was told that if you want to have him topless, you can actually pull his head off and remove that top part of his outfit. I don't know why you would want to do that, but anyway, uh, it is an option. So I've heard. I have not tried it myself. But that top piece of his outfit is a separate rubber piece that slid over his torso. Underneath, he basically used the same body that came from another character in the Masters of the Universe called Beastman, which is a good choice. Beastman was already really big and furry and uh, covered in hair and muscle, so it's a logical choice. Uh, Most of this action figure and many of the other figures in the Masters of the Universe, like I said, they were made by Mattel, but they were actually designed and sculpted by the Four Horsemen studio. You guys have heard me talk endlessly about Four Horsemen and how good they are on action figures, and I have shown their own in-house designs before. So I'm not going to go into too much about that. But suffice to say, the sculptural details on the fur and the muscles are very good, and that's no surprise when it comes to Four Horsemen. They are very, very talented in doing what they can to make an action figure feel and look good. His articulations are serviceable, but kind of limited comparing to a lot of other action figures or other lines. Uh, but most of the things that you want to have him move. His neck, his waist, his torso, his shoulder, his elbow, wrist, ankle, knees, thighs. they all move. It's just because Mattel has never been very good at making action figures that actually move properly. So a lot of the joints don't have a very big range of movement. His elbow, for example, partly because of his giant bicep, but they don't get a lot of bend in them. Uh, but Plunder had never been like a hand-to-hand Spider-Man type character that need to pull off a lot of martial art poses. So as long as he can stand there and look menacing and uh, command his troop to attack, he's okay. He's okay. He doesn't need a lot of dynamic movement. But even with that, he does come with a little something to help him uh, along, help him conquer others when things don't exactly go his way. Our purple gangster rabbit here comes with this little silver, sci-fi futuristic submachine gun that he can hold and look pretty menacing holding it. It's a nice little gun, nothing special about it, but it's nice that he has something that he can hold in his hand to get his points across. And even better still, he can actually hold this gun in both hands, uh, which make him kind of a little bit better than a lot of other action figures that come with weapons like this. A lot of other figures, you try to get them to hold their guns with both hands. It's a pain in the butt. But Plunder here, no problem. Now, it would be nice if they included some of his evil robots with the figure. Like I said in the show, Plunder is not really the kind of rabbit that get his own hand dirty. He doesn't get in there and slug it out with He-Man like Skeletor likes to do. Uh, he mostly just stand at a distance and command these robots that he designed that also look like killer rabbits, and these robots do his attacking for him. So it would have been really nice if we could have gotten a few robot rabbits or rabbit robots in the package. But hey, what can you say? You can't always get everything. Um, so unfortunately, in the world that Plunder is in right now, on my shelf, he has to do his own dirty work. He has to grab his little submachine gun and try to do his own dirty work and fight the good guys the old-fashioned way. But anyway, I ended up with this big purple rabbit guy that is pretty cool and serves today's purpose. You can still find Plunder very cheap on websites like Big Bad Toy Store. Most of the time, you can find him for about $30, $25. So yeah, if you're interested in finding a rabbit guy like this, then go look him up. You might be able to find him at a reasonable price. Although a lot of these Masters of the Universe made by Mattel, made in the around 2010, 2016, uh, in that decade, let's just say in that decade, uh, some of them have become highly sought after, highly collectible, because a lot of you might not know this. Back then, you actually have to subscribe to Mattel. You need to be a Mattel member. You have to buy membership to get these action figures. You couldn't just walk into a store and buy them. You actually have to subscribe to Mattel, and then you pay them an arm and a leg every year, and then every month they send you the figure of the month, no matter if it's the figure you wanted or not. So it was a little bit crazy. It's an exclusive club membership thing. Um, I never subscribed, so I ended up uh, finding Plunder after the fact on the Big Bad Toy Store website uh, when he was being discounted. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and I'll be back shortly for today's Fitness Friday.